The NFL draft is in just 22 days, and the Tennessee Titans are in a very interesting spot. There's a good chance that either Joe Alt, Malik Nabers, or Rome Odunze are going to be sitting there at pick 7 when the Titans are up on the clock. Which of these three guys should they take? Which of these three guys would you rather them take as Titans fans? Or should they trade back? Hey Titans fans, Titan Uprising here. Thank you for tuning in. I'm almost to 400 subscribers. Thank you to my new subscribers, and thank you to the subscribers that have been with me since day one. I've been making videos for about a year now, and I actually enjoy doing it. I love reaching out to other Titans fans and seeing your guys' thoughts and opinions and what your takes are, because I'm a fan just like you guys are, and it makes me feel good that you guys enjoy the content. It really does. I'm also a Bleacher Report community captain, so I like seeing what people say in the Bleacher Report community, and I'm hoping that we can make some changes in there as well, because, hey, some of those articles just plain out suck. So, hey, I am also in the Discord making sure that they can change that at some point and someday. Trust me, I'm voicing our opinion on that because some of these articles are just garbage. But, hey, one of the reasons I've also enjoyed doing this is because, you know, I share some of the stuff behind me that I collect, like the Derrick Henry helmet right behind me, which is one of my most prized possessions. The Derrick Henry statue with him and the crown's a bobblehead. And I've shown you guys these over the course of the past year and what I collect. And you know, I'm starting to get back into cards. And I've also just got a new item here that I'm going to show you guys right now. And this is the new... it's a draft hat for the Titans this year. Now you guys can see it's got the blue accent and it's got some grays and blacks in there. And I love this hat. And it's a new era cap here, as you can see. And then right here they have the state of Tennessee with the 3 stars, and it says Tighten Up right here. And I love the 3 stars because obviously for Tennessee, and also that we've been having the 3 stars on the back of the collar now on the new jerseys, which I also think is pretty sharp. And then here is the inside of the hat. And it's just a stretch fit hat. I didn't get it fitted or anything. I have a huge head, so you know, the stretch fit actually fits pretty well, and it's a large to extra large. So if you guys have a big head like me, you know, feel free to cop one of these, and you know, I will put this on for the remainder of the video. And guys, let's get into the draft because I am super excited for this draft. This is one of the most exciting drafts that I can remember as being a Titans fan, and this is a big one for us. I mean, we went out in free agency and we really did we spent money, and we're building this team, and I'm excited. I mean, Will Levis has the ball out this year. He has to turn it on, and, you know, I posted a short earlier today about him in the practice throwing the ball, and, you know, it was like a 7-second clip, but if you guys want, check that out. He's definitely putting the work in this offseason, and I can't wait to see what this guy does week 1, I mean, even in the preseason, because it sounds like we're going to play our players in the preseason, which is unlike what we have done in the past, as we all know. And you guys know how I feel about that as well, because I feel like the Titans, one of the reasons why they're injured all the time is because they don't really get any live reps. They don't loosen up. They don't stretch out. And we've always laid an egg week 1 because these guys just aren't ready to play. We never played any of the starters week 1. Or sorry, any of the preseason games. And then week 1 comes out and they're not loose. They're not ready to go. You know, they haven't had any live reps. Give them a couple quarters. Just come on. But guys, let's dive right into this draft. And like I said before, I believe either Malik Nabers, Joe Alt, or Rome Odunze will be on the board for the Tennessee Titans. And the reason I think that way is because I'm a firm believer that 4 of the top 6 picks will be quarterbacks. Especially with the Vikings, okay? The Vikings acquiring another first-round pick in this year's draft. They're just acquiring the ammo, the draft capital to move up and take a quarterback. That's the reason they're doing that. They don't have Kirk Cousins anymore. They have a stud star wide receiver in Justin Jefferson. They have to make this work. They need to move up and get their guy, and a lot of people, myself included, think it's J.J. McCarthy if he is the 4th quarterback taken. You know, we're always up for surprises in the draft, guys. But you also have to figure one of those top 5 picks, most likely, is going to be Marvin Harrison. So if the 4 of the 6 picks are quarterbacks, and then you have Marvin Harrison Jr., He's gonna throw him in the top 6. I know I said top 5, but I think he'll be a top 5 player. But throw him in that top 6 as well. Then the odds are that either Alt, Nabers, or Odunze are going to fall to pick 7. And obviously the Titans can only pick one of these players unless they trade back up and pick another one, which I would love. But that's not going to happen. That means probably 2 of these guys are going to fall to the Titans, okay? 2 of these 3 players likely will fall to the Titans. Now, I personally think the Giants at pick 6 will take either Nabers or Odunze. And if they do, that leaves us for sure with Joe Alt. If Joe Alt is there at 7, you run to that podium and you hand that card in. No questions asked. We need a franchise left tackle in the worst way. And this guy is considered a generational talent. He stands at 6'8" and weighs in at 322 pounds. He is a monster of a human being, and this guy has all pro talent. And we also know what Callahan can do with first-round tackles as well. He also just turned 21, so he's still very young. And as I said, once Bill Callahan gets his hands on this guy and coaches him up, my God, he's going to be special. He turned in 2 elite seasons at Notre Dame, earning overall grades above 90 in those 2 seasons. In those 2 seasons, he had nearly 800 pass blocking attempts, and in those, he allowed just 8 total quarterback pressures and just 1 sack. He also had a 90 zone run blocking grade last year as well. And guys, Tannehill and Levis, they both got hit a lot last year. Levis is the future of this team, and they need to protect him. Imagine this, guys. Imagine this here. Joe Alt paired up with last year's first-round pick, Peter Skoronski. The left side of the line is set for years with this pick. You don't even have to worry about that anymore. I mean, we have to make this pick if he's there. This is the pick I want, and I know it's not sexy because it's a lineman, but we need a lineman and especially a left tackle. With this pick, only the right guard and right tackle spots are truly questionable, but I believe Brunskill will probably slide back into the right guard position again this year. He was serviceable last year, and he did okay. Now that leaves right tackle as the opening there, and that's probably going to come down between NPF, Duncan, maybe Dylan Radins. One of these guys should be serviceable, especially with some magical Callahan coaching. Take Joe Alt, solidify the offensive line. Let's get it done, guys. I hope he's there. This is the pick I want. Now, if Alt is off the board, then I think for sure either Nabers or Odunze is there. And I personally, if they're both there, I personally would rather go with Nabers over Odunze. Now, if Nabers and Alt are gone, and I'm wrong about 4 quarterbacks going in the top 6, there's a chance that Odunze is left on the board at 7. Honestly, I can't be mad at all if the Titans picked a wide receiver, because next year, Hopkins, he's a free agent. And who knows what we will get out of Burks. And, Ridley, he's going to be another year older next year. We need to start getting younger at the wide receiver position. Nabers or Odunze would be solid picks, like I said, but I would prefer Nabers. Now, let me get into Nabers real quick and why I would prefer him. First off, Nabers is coming from LSU, who has pumped out stud wide receivers over the past few years, like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Odell Beckham Jr. Now, Nabers is 6 foot tall, and he weighs in at 201 pounds. He's solid. He ran the 40-yard dash in a 4.35 seconds, and this guy is just as explosive as it gets. If Marvin Harrison Jr. was not in this draft, Nabers would be the unquestioned, by most, best receiver in this draft because he's that talented. He's a beast with the ball in his hands, and he can really rack up the yards after catch. He's a game changer with elite speed. He played in the slot 50.3% of the time last year, and he will eat guys alive in man coverage. Now, there are actually some scouts out there that have Nabers ahead of Marvin Harrison. I don't, but if Harrison's there, oh God, take him. But Harrison's that generational wide receiver there. But, you know, Odunze, guys, he's not a slouch at all by any means. And if this draft didn't have studs like Harrison and Nabers, he would be the unquestioned #1 wide receiver in this draft. These three guys are uber talented. All three of these wide receivers in this draft are elite and are #1 wide receivers. So do not sleep on Odunze if he is there. Now, he's 6'3" and weighs in at 212 pounds. Now, he lined up on the outside 84% of the time, and he's your prototypical X wide receiver, just like Harrison is. Now, if I were to say, you know, what each of these wide receivers have as far as strengths go, I would say Harrison, the guy can just flat out get open. He can catch everything. I think he's the true #1 in this draft as far as a wide receiver goes. Nabers is a yak monster, and Odunze is just a contested catch guy. That's his specialty. He had a 88.9% contested catch rate, which is just absurd. He goes up and he comes down with it. Almost 9 times out of 10, he goes up and comes down with it. That's insane. Now, he was 87% successful versus man coverage, 81% versus zone coverage, 92% against press coverage, and had a 77% success rate against double coverage, which he did not face often, but when he did, 77% of the time, he won it. He also broke a tackle on 50% of the passes he caught in open space. So he has yak ability too, but his yak ability just isn't what Malik Nabers is. It's not the same. He sounds pretty well-rounded to me, but like I said, that has that special ability to go up and get the ball on contested catches. That's his special ability. He can truly thrive doing that. Chuck it up, he'll come down with it. Now, the last possibility here is to trade back and acquire more picks. I say no to this, okay? Now, I get why people would want that. And if we did it, I mean, I understand it. We need help at safety, which I think we will address in free agency once the free agent market, you know, kind of cools down for safeties, because there's a plethora of safeties out there. I want Justin Simmons personally, so I hope we can get him. Another need is inside linebacker and edge, but there isn't a linebacker or edge worth taking at pick 7. And if we trade back to acquire more picks to fill holes, we're missing out on an elite player. If the Tennessee Titans can walk out of the draft with either Joe Alt, Malik Nabers, or Rome Odunze, us as Tennessee Titans fans have to be ecstatic with this draft, and I know I would be for sure. Now, guys, the hope here is that the Titans are not picking in the top 10 ever again in the near future. Shouldn't say ever again. The odds of that are slim, but not in the near future. Next 20 years, we don't want to see top 10 again, because that means we're not a good football team. And right now we're picking at 7, which means we're not a good football team. And we have a top 7 pick, right? Now, let's grab one of these players now, one of these elite players, get them on the roster, because we don't know if we'll have another shot. And this is a truly talented class. We're not going to get another shot at a Joe Alt, Malik Nabers, or Rome Odunze. We're just not going to. And the odds of 4 quarterbacks going in the top 6, that might not happen for a long time. I don't think it's happening before in draft history. Not 4 in the top 6. And this draft has the possibility to have that happen. So, because that's going to happen, one of these elite players will fall. And we're going to be sitting there with open arms, waiting to catch one of them. And I hope we do. Don't trade back. I know we need more picks and we have holes to fill, but let's try to fill as much as we can in free agency. Rand has a plan. He has admitted it. He still has his eyes on free agency, but he's turning his attention to the draft. But guys, hey, let me know what you think down below about the draft. Would you be okay with one of these 3 guys, or do you want to trade back? And if you're okay with one of these 3 guys, what guy would it be? Alt, Nabers, or Odunze? Let me know down below. And also, let me know what you think about the hat. I have not bought a draft hat in maybe 3 years because I haven't been a fan of them. But this one, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I love this hat. So guys, let me know what you think down below. And as always, tighten up, everybody.